Well, everybody, it's kind of a new one for me. Um, my name is Britton Lang, and this is my channel. These are my videos. Making videos myself is not something that I normally do, or pictures or whatever, because who wants to look at me? I don't. But I feel that there's something that needs to get out there, something that I think people need to know about. And it's this thing of mental illness, pride, and ego. And a lot of times those things, all three of those go together. And it can be really destructive. And a lot of people with mental illness, there's always a stigma attached to it. And a lot of people look down on people who are mentally ill and just treat us like we're not even barely human anymore. 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with severe borderline personality disorder. Now I don't know, his evaluation took me from regular borderline all the way to severe. I guess I'm just so more screwed up than normal that I crossed the border, I guess. And it's kind of nice to know what's going on with me, why. I can reason it out and all that, but on the other hand, I can look back and see, close, or probably over 30 years now that I've actually been dealing with this, and I can trace it back, because one of the things with BPD is your mind is a steel trap, and it records things that are just completely useless and meaningless, and things long gone and dead. Stuff that happened 30 years ago, but I can remember it with just same day clarity, as if it was happening right then. And it can be a challenge to try and clear that crap out and try and reason with it and let it go. It's always easier said than done. But I just want to talk about, when I say mental illness, pride and ego, well, the pride and ego, nobody wants to be told that there's something wrong with them. Nobody wants to believe that there's something wrong with them. A lot of people like to point at everybody else and say, no, it's everybody else. It's them. And I'm no different. And I come from a bad background. I'm not going to get into the weeds on what I've been through. But I just want to put this out there for people to watch and think about, consider, and if you know somebody else that's dealing with some kind of mental illness, and maybe they can watch this and I can give them a kick in the head or a kick in the pants to get them over themselves, and get them whatever help they need to face whatever they got going on, whatever you have going on, because it's destroyed my life. It's been 9 years since I've been diagnosed, but I didn't get diagnosed and start dealing with it until it had pretty much taken everything I had. And so I just want to put a story out there. I'm not afraid to air my dirty laundry, anymore. Now if it helps somebody else to keep from being where I'm at. I was in love once. The greatest girl I ever known. The only person in my entire life that ever felt really loved me. But I was dealing with this, and with this comes mood swings, temper flare-ups. I mean, just fly off the handle for no real reason. Piddly of things. Uh, then I was 20 years old. 20, 21, right there in that range. I met her when I was 19, and I lost her when I was 22. And some of the things that I've done is, even with mental illness, it's unexcusable. Uh, the things I've done, the way that I treated her, I never laid a hand on her or nothing like that. I never went that far, but she saw some really bad tempers, and she handled it so well too. I mean, if I flew off the handle, whatever, she wouldn't even engage me. She wouldn't challenge me. She wouldn't argue. She would just, grab her purse and her keys and leave. And we talked later on, and I was back to sanity and all that, and we went on. But I'm not going to get into the weeds of all whys and whats, and be too much to explain everything that entails with bipolar or borderline personality, which, as I just kind of stumbled, that it is often misdiagnosed as bipolar because it's so similar in the mentality of it all. I'm going to post a link down underneath the screen here, so if you really want to know what's going on with somebody who's dealing with this, you can check it out. But anyway, there's one story I want to talk about. Okay, so her and I were at a mall, and this was towards the end of our relationship, where she done put up with so much from me, and I was fighting this battle with this disease that I didn't even know I had. I didn't know what my demon was. I didn't know, what I was fighting, but she didn't either. But she was sticking in there, and she was trying. She was trying to help me. And anyway, so we're walking through the mall, and with borderline comes instances of manic depression. I mean, it can just hit you out of nowhere, no matter where you're at, who you're with, what you're doing. It's just like a dark cloud just falls on you, and you just want to crawl into a hole right then and there. It's crazy. And well, it happened to me while we were walking through a mall. But another part of BPD is you push people away and you pull them back, and you're afraid they're going to leave you, but then you push them away and you bring them back, and being a 21, 22-year-old guy, it's just normal guy stuff that we don't talk much about our feelings. I mean, it's just not the manly thing to do. So with that double whammy, this hit me, and I didn't have the vocabulary to tell her what was going on with me. And pride and ego, I didn't want to tell her what was going on with me because I didn't want her to think that I was weak, because I was afraid that she would see that I was weak and reject me. So in my confused mind, I was chewing on some Tic Tacs, and I spit a few at her. Yes, looking back, now I'm in a state where I can rationalize and all that. It was just a crap, horrible thing to do to the one you love. But in my mental state at the time, I reasoned that I can't tell her how I feel, because all I wanted at that moment was for her to just come up and let me hold her and work through it. But instead, I spit Tic Tacs at her. And thinking that, I'd make her mad, and she'd turn on me and come back at me, and then we'd wrestle around a little bit. But at least I'd be able to have contact with her and hold her in a way, and that's how colluded and diluted and a mind can get. But instead, she had already been beaten down so much over the years we were together emotionally that she had nothing left to even fight back. And instead, she just stood there and took it. And so I'm standing there in my hole, alone, hurting, desperate. And she's standing over there, hurt, humiliated, degraded, and probably just by the worst way that somebody who loves you could degrade you. And so we both walked out of the mall, limping and wounded. And she didn't put up with me much longer after that. And she's gone. She truly hates me. And not that I could truly blame her. I mean, there's only so much people can put up with. And so that comes to the point of my story, is that if you're dealing with something, I don't care what it is. I mean, you could be it could just be a bad case of assholism. But if you got something that is jacking you up and making you behave wrongly, and though you may truly care for somebody, but you're still treating them like crap. If you've been diagnosed with some kind of mental illness, alcohol, whatever it is, is ripping your whole life apart and those around you, get help. Don't wait till you lose everything. I'm 41 years old now. All my friends have abandoned me. Well, I guess they got tired of dealing with me. And my phone hasn't rang in years by anybody calling just to see how I am. No phone calls, text messages, emails, Facebook. It's like I don't even exist at all to hardly anybody. I mean, most phone calls I get anymore, people want to buy or sell something. So the cost of doing nothing and going on thinking you got it under control, think you got this. Well, like I said, only one person in my life that I ever felt really loved me, and that's what I did to her. That's been 18 years, 5 months ago. Actually, 5 months ago in one day. And I got control a lot better, not perfect, over the manic depressive issues, and the incidents, and the manic, the mania, where the voices start doing juggling acts in my mind. You can learn more about that if you want to learn more about bipolar and borderline personality and all that. I just want you to take a look at what your life can be if you choose to go your own way. It's December 25th, Christmas Day. Here I am with all my friends and family. I get to enjoy it all, the fruits of my labor. Merry Christmas. Get some help.